Welcome to Books Power Channel, where entertainment meets continuous self-improvement.
Okay, let's just take a second. I want you to take a really hard look at your life right now.
I mean, you're busy, right? Your calendar is probably packed. You're always on the move, answering messages, just doing stuff. But at the end of the day, when all the noise finally stops, do you actually feel powerful, or do you just feel drained? Stephen Covey pointed out a pretty terrifying truth about this feeling. He painted this picture of people climbing the ladder of success, grinding it out day after day just to finally get to the top and realize their ladder was leaning against the wrong wall the whole time. Think about that. All that work for a prize you didn't even want. But what if you could fix that? What if there was a kind of hidden operating system for being effective as a human being? I'm not talking about little tips and tricks. I'm talking about a master blueprint to actually architect your life, to make sure every single step you take is on a ladder that's leaning against the right wall. That, my friends, is the promise of the 7 habits. And it all starts with one single fundamental choice. It's the choice to either be the architect of your life or just a reactor to it. This is habit 1, be proactive. Just listen to the language people use. It literally reveals their entire mindset. Reactive people, they blame everything around them. Their world is full of, I can't, I have to, if only things were different. They're basically just a product of their circumstances. But proactive people, well, they're driven by their values. Their language is all about choice. I will, I can, I choose to. They're the ones causing things to happen. So here's the first rule of real power. Stop wasting your time and energy on things you can't control. The economy, the weather, what other people think. That's your circle of concern. Just let it go. Instead, pour every single ounce of your focus into your circle of influence, the things you can actually change, your skills, your attitude, your habits. The mantra is simple. Act, don't be acted upon. All right, so once you've grabbed the steering wheel of your own life, the next big question is, where are you driving? This leads us straight into habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. I mean, think about it. You wouldn't build a house without a blueprint, right? So why are so many of us building a life that way? Now, Covey gives us this really intense thought experiment. I want you to actually imagine this. Picture yourself at your own funeral. You're there just watching. What do you genuinely, deep down, want to hear your family, your friends, and your colleagues say about who you were? What kind of legacy did you leave behind? Answering that one question honestly, that's the ultimate test of clarity. It just cuts through all the daily noise, all the distractions, and it shows you what really matters to you. That vision, that becomes your personal mission statement. It becomes your compass, making sure that every single decision you make from now on keeps your ladder planted firmly against the right wall. So having a vision is amazing, but actually executing on it, that's a whole different ballgame. This brings us to habit 3, put first things first. This is where your grand blueprint starts to become a reality. Day by day, hour by hour. The great battle of modern life is this constant fight between what's urgent and what's important. The urgent stuff is always screaming for your attention. The phone ringing, the constant emails, that little crisis that pops up. But the important stuff, it usually doesn't scream. It whispers. It's the deep work that actually moves you closer to your big goals. Look, this is the battlefield of your day. Most people spend their lives in quadrant 1, putting out fires, and quadrant 3, dealing with other people's urgent but unimportant stuff. And then they escape to quadrant 4 for relief. That's the time waster zone. But the real power, the life-changing stuff, is hidden somewhere else entirely. The secret of the world's most effective people is this. They live in quadrant 2. They operate where things are incredibly important but not yet urgent. This is the zone for strategic planning, for building relationships, for learning new skills, for taking care of your health. It's the zone of opportunity, not the zone of crisis. Okay, so once you've mastered yourself with these first 3 habits, you're ready to move on to mastering your interactions with other people. This is the big shift from what Covey calls private victory to public victory. We're moving away from just competing and into the incredible power of collaboration. Habit 4 is all about thinking win-win. And this isn't just some negotiation tactic. It's a whole philosophy for how you deal with people. It comes from what he calls an abundance mentality, the belief that there's plenty of success to go around. See, most people have a scarcity mentality. They think that for them to win, someone else has to lose. Win-win says, hey, forget that. Let's just work together and bake a much bigger pie for everyone. But to find those win-win solutions, you need a very specific skill. And that brings us to habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Most of us don't listen to understand. Let's be honest. We listen so we can reply. We're just waiting for our turn to talk. Truly effective people do it the other way around. They're like doctors. They diagnose the situation completely before they even think about prescribing a solution. It's all about deep, empathetic listening. And when you combine that win-win mindset with a real deep understanding of other people, you unlock habit 6, synergy. This is that magic place where 1 + 1 = 3 or 10 or 100. Think about Steve Jobs, the marketing genius, and Steve Wozniak, the brilliant engineer. They were smart on their own, sure, but together, they created Apple. Synergy is all about valuing the fact that people are different and using those differences to create something amazing that neither person could have made alone. But all of this, being proactive, having a vision, executing on it, collaborating, it all takes energy, a lot of it. It requires you to be at your absolute best. And that brings us to the final crucial habit that makes all the others even possible: sharpen the saw. There's this great little story about a guy who's trying to saw down a tree. He's been at it for hours, he's totally exhausted, and he's not getting anywhere. A neighbor walks by and says, "Hey, why don't you take a break and sharpen your saw?" And the guy replies, "I don't have time to sharpen the saw. I'm too busy sawing." Now, we laugh at that, but how often are we that guy? We sacrifice our sleep, our health, our learning, all because we're too busy being productive. Sharpening the saw just means consistently taking time to renew yourself in the 4 key areas of your life. Physically, with exercise and good food; mentally, by reading, learning, and planning; spiritually, by meditating or just connecting with your deepest values; and socially and emotionally, by investing time in your most important relationships. And let's be really clear about this. This isn't downtime. This is not a luxury. If you want to be a high performer, this is the work. Your ability to produce anything of value is directly linked to how committed you are to your own renewal. It is the single best investment you can ever make. So, as you can see, these aren't just 7 random tips. They're a complete integrated system. It's like a code for building a life that has real purpose and impact. It's a journey from being dependent on others to being independent, and finally, to being interdependent with them. The power to write your own story, it's been in your hands the entire time. So the only question left is, will you pick up the pen? If this explainer helped you see a new way forward, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Books Power for more ideas like this. Let us know in the comments which habit you're going to start architecting into your life first. Thanks so much for watching.